Hey everybody, I'm the Rusty Mechanic, and I thought that it being no wait, I wanted to say my beard is out of control. Look at this thing. I need a haircut. I don't even know what's going on underneath this hat anymore, but that's not why you're here. It's Friday night, and I'm sitting here at the end of a long work week having myself an IPA. Ah, that is refreshing. And I thought I got a box from Madhouse at the beginning of this week that I haven't had a chance to go ahead and open up and see what's inside. Actually, I know what's inside of it, but I thought it would be more interesting to spend a Friday afternoon, 30 minutes before all of the other streamers get on. Guys like Shoki with his Doesn't Have to Make Sense podcast. If you want to go check him out, the Realm of Collectors, they come on at 9 o'clock as well and do their thing. So I thought we could spend 30 minutes together just for fun, open up this box and see what I've got in there, talk about it. Some of it, I'm actually really interested in opening up all these guys, getting some videos and stuff out for you guys. We're going to have a chat about one of them because there's been a bit of whirlwind on the internet about it and what might be going on with this figure, why this figure was released when it was. But I did get it at the beginning of the week, didn't really have time to open it up, and I thought, why not do a live stream with all of you guys? Go ahead and open this thing up and check out and see what's in there. So with all that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and actually, before I get to that, I did want to tell everybody a fun story from my Nerd Week earlier this week. So as you may notice behind me, I have some wall art up on the wall that I haven't actually hung yet because I haven't quite decided exactly how I want to lay out this room. What I thought I was going to do was go ahead and get some detals because those are the most popular things to display your collection in, and go ahead and line them up on this wall. So I actually made a trip out to IKEA earlier this week and just trying to decide, like, look at the options. I know they have Billy bookcases, but they're open. I know that they have doors, but a lot of times they have like a framing going on, right? So it might interrupt your line of sight to your collection. Again, so detolfs seem to be the answer. The only problem I ever had with detolfs is I always thought they were a little short, but went to IKEA anyway to make a decision. Do I want to get the details? Do I want to get something else? And lo and behold, I turned a corner and stared at a detolf, and inside the detolf was a tag that said, "Get it now or get it never," which is the thing that IKEA puts on their stuff when it's about to be discontinued. So a little disheartened, I went over to one of the ladies that work in IKEA, the customer service people, just to confirm, is this actually true? Is this a mistake? You couldn't possibly be getting rid of these things after all these years. And sure enough, she confirmed that the detolfs are being discontinued. They're getting more throughout the year, but we're going to see less and less of them. So if you are thinking about getting any more detolfs, now might be the time to do it. Any of you who know Bobby Skullface and all of his guys, one of his buddies is Robert D or Robert Detolf. Well, I'm just going to refer to Robert as Robert Discontinued moving forward. Thanks, I'll be here all night. Anyway, with all that being said, let's go ahead and rip into this box and see what we've got in there. Just give me a second, guys. What I'm going to do is just going to switch cameras so that you can see what I'm doing as I'm doing it. I have the box right here. You can see down in the corner. I haven't actually cut it open. You guys are going to do that with me. So just give me 1 second, and I'll be right back. All right, we're back. So here's the box. As you can see, it has the official, well, not official, but it has a Madhouse sticker on it. You may recognize this from the t-shirts that I was giving away. So this is one of the designs. This is the death design that Eric from Madhouse did when he made those t-shirts. If you want those t-shirts, by the way, I think Eric still has some. So go ahead and hit him up either on Facebook or the Madhaus website. Ask him, see if he's got any. I think he's actually got an orange one now. Let's go ahead and cut this guy open. I am a little behind on these. I think I got all of these, the ones you'll see in here. I had them at about the same time as everybody else, but just didn't have time. I was doing, if you missed my push to 1,000, I'm making some adjustments to the channel. So I was doing that cleanup throughout the week. I'm basically dropping the Transformers Masterpiece Theater and just sticking with the rest of Mechanic, and that way, because I do want to review other stuff other than just Masterpiece figures. I'm sort of getting into the Legend scale stuff now as well. And there's some other toy lines that are starting to interest me as well. So shout out to Alex, by the way, who's always doing the shipping for Madhouse. Excellent bubble packaging. We'll get rid of that. Everything is always wrapped in this, awesome wrapping brown shipping paper, whatever. Let's go ahead and bring out the star. This is the one, I think. So there we go. So we have Parkour, Fans Toys Parkour. So that's their cliff jumper. I am. We'll talk about it in a bit. I was excited to look at that one, and then all the reports of the transformation issues started to come out. He's fiddly. I hate frustrating transformations. So I was looking forward to reviewing it and doing the transformation videos. Now, I don't know, but I'm going to do them because how can I not? The next two I'm going to show you, these ones are, I'm actually excited about these. So I have this guy, Navigant, from Mastermind Creations, right? So Streetwise from the Protectobots. That video is coming out. The unboxing video and initial impressions is going to come out tomorrow morning. Again, really liking MMC and what they're doing with their figures. So I was sad when I got into Masterpiece collecting and realized that I had missed these guys. So I was super happy when MMC announced that they were reissuing them. And so I have Frodo. So this is their reissue of the Combaticons. So this is Swindle. So I'll be doing that guy. Again, very much looking forward to checking out the Combaticon versions of the Protectobots. And of course, then there's Vortex. I think this is Vortex, right? Helicopter is Vortex. Anyway, this is Impetus. So that's two of the Combaticon figures they just released. The other three are coming very, very soon. So I'll be keeping an eye out for those and getting the entire collection. Other fun fact too is Alex actually reached out to me and said he's actually got the upgrade kit. So he's going to send that to me as well, so I can show that off, because apparently it does give you that extra boost to shelf presence to your Bruticus. Anyway, so this is the one. Oh, it's in another brown box. All right. Well, okay. It's got the name on the front of it, so that's good. Let me just pull this out of here. Let's check this. So this is the last one. So if you don't know what this is, PT02 is Pango Toys Mighty God, which is a Legend scale version of Omega Supreme. So this is the one that I'm really interested in checking out. I love Omega Supreme, Legend scale one. Really, really super interested to check it out. But I am just going to switch back to my selfie view camera here, and we're just going to have a chat about this guy. So just give me a second, guys. I'm going to switch cameras again. I'll be right back. right, and we're back. So the interesting part about, so again, I was really excited. Oh, I forgot to move my microphone down. Rookie mistake. So I was really interested in checking out this guy. So the Pangu toys. And then I'm just going to take a sip of this. There's 2 people watching. Okay, cool. You guys can throw up some comments for me if you have any questions or anything. So the interesting part about this mighty god from Pangu Toys, and I've mentioned this before, I'm not one for watching other people's reviews. The primary reason is I really don't want my opinion of these figures when I review them for you guys. And again, part of the reason why I take a little bit longer than others, right? Pake did a review on this earlier this week. So did a few other guys. I always like to take a little bit more time than just ripping it open on the day of. I like to, send it through its transformations, get a good solid feel of it, so I can give you guys a solid opinion of it when, if and when I do a review of the figure. And like I mentioned in my push to 1,000, I'm going to start reviewing the stuff that I find interesting. And this guy I find interesting because it's a Legend Scale Omega Supreme. And the Legend Scale stuff, I mean, the engineering that's in the Legend Scale stuff is, it just blows my mind, because how are they getting the same level of engineering, transformation, all that stuff in a scale that is that small, that is so small. And this is packed in here really tight. Holy cow. I might just rip open this box. Why is it cut open from the other end? So then I started seeing online that people were calling it a KO. And I thought, that's weird. Why is it a KO? So the box is pretty plain. It's just a plain black box, but there's the Mighty Miracle God, right? I knew there was another word in there. I couldn't remember what it was. So what I started noticing, like I said, is that people started referring to it as a KO. So I started poking around with some of the guys. I started asking Shoki, Bobby. In fact, Bobby didn't even remember, but this is where the story gets interesting. So Ricky, Pake, Bobby. So what's interesting is that, the minute that the guys started into their reviews and got into, like, when they pulled it out of the box and started to look at it, they immediately started to recognize that it had some, it looked like something they had seen before, right? And the guys had identified it almost immediately. And then they got into the transformation, and the transformation was identical as well. The paint applications were identical as well. So it turns out that this thing is, it's a copy of DX9 Gabriel, just an undersized KO, basically, right? So it's DX9 Gabriel in Legends scale. So it's interesting that, because I'd never heard of Pangu Toys until Madhouse reached out to me and said, "Hey, this thing's coming in. Do you want one?" And I said, "Yes," because I knew that the New Age Michael was coming. So again, a comparison video is always interesting, no matter what it is. So I said yes, and go ahead and send it to me. And then all this stuff on the internet came out about, hey, it looks like this thing is a KO. So what's interesting is that we run into this situation every now and again, and it's that situation. So we know that New Age Michael is coming, right? So New Age's Legend Scale version of Omega Supreme. And they've touted that it has in electronics in it, light up effects, the eyes, the arms, whatever, and the tank is motorized in a Legend Scale figure, which again, to me, engineering wise, absolutely blows my mind. That's the stuff that makes me so interested in Transformers, is the engineering in the transformation, the engineering in, like, how do you get a motorized tank in figure, anything in something that scale. So it's interesting that New Age announces their Omega Supreme, and then this company comes out of nowhere with a copy of a previous masterpiece scale figure in Legend Scale size ahead of New Age. And we see this every now and again, right? one company rushing to market with something to try to beat out somebody else. We saw it last year when Fans Toys released Outrider. The box was terrible. And it was shortly after Takara had announced their Trailbreaker. Um, Deformation Space does Blaster. Well, within no time, Fans Toys has their version of Blaster, right, which apparently is coming out this year. It's really interesting watching this stuff unfold. Um, and to be honest, I think the people that get hit the worst are actually the distributors, because guys like Madhouse, The Chosen Prime, BBTS, like not the Chinese retailers, because we know what the situation is over there. They're living next door to these guys. They don't have to deal with duties, shipping, taxes, distributors, none of that stuff, right? But the North American, European distributors will now put in an order for New Age Michael in this instance. And then another company turns around and releases this other cheaper version, because it is significant. The price on this is not significantly cheaper, but it's cheaper enough, right? So now we as collectors now have to decide, do we want to stick with the pre-order that we've put in for New Age Michael, or do we go with this other thing? Only to find out that the other thing is actually a complete copy of something that we've seen before. So anyway, all that to say is, and personally, on a personal note as well, I was excited to look at this, and now, so again, this is why I don't like looking at reviews or Facebook or anything like that when it comes to this stuff, because I want to try to have an unbiased opinion. But I have a personal problem with KOs, and I know that some people have, if you collect KOs, I don't care. That's your choice, it's your money, it's your decision, it's fine. I would rather support the companies that came up with the original design. And there's arguments to be made out there about, well, they're all ripping off, Sunbow, or Marvel, or Takara Tomy, or Hasbro, or whatever company, name a company, right? They're all ripping those guys off anyway. Well, in my mind, they're not, because these are still original designs from an engineering perspective, from a transformation perspective, from their take on the character. And when you come up with an exact copy of the work that somebody else has done, I don't think that's fair. Again, if you're going to go out and collect KOs, I don't care. That's your decision. Some people argue that as long as you bought an original, it's okay to buy a KO. I don't think, I'm never going to buy a KO. And here I have this one in my hand now. So take that as you will. But I am going to try to be objective about this as I go through it and give my impression and everything else. But just keep in mind, and I'll talk about it when I do my initial impressions video, I'm sure, that this is a copy of DX9 Gabriel. So keep that in mind as you will. So anyway, so to me, I think my next few reviews are going to be interesting, because I have Parkour, which I was looking forward to. Focus. But I'm scared of the transformation. If you guys remember my Deformation Space Crimson Wings, right? The Starscream, the transformation, that thing frustrated the hell out of me. Almost drove me to drink. I did drink some rum. So that's that guy. I will dig into that. And then the Combaticons I'll probably sit on a little bit, just because they are a reissue. So I'm sure that they've been reviewed to death from the first time that they were released. But again, the MMC stuff is really, really impressing me. So I do want to take a look at them. In fact, I think I can honestly say I like MMC more than Fans Toys. Now, I'm sorry, please don't hurt me. But they make a solid figure. They're clean, smooth transformations. The plastic is decent. It's not, their transformations are not overly complicated, and this all-in-one, all built-in design is astonishing to me. Astonishing. I love it. Anyway, that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Please, again, if you do enjoy my videos, the content that I'm making, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. What are your thoughts on this Pangu toys coming out? What's your thoughts on Pancorn the transformation? Do you have the Assaultus figures? What's your opinion of them? Are you looking forward to my Navigant video tomorrow? If you like this video, please give a like down below. That does always help out a lot. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm assuming that you have. But if you haven't, please go ahead and subscribe. Please share. All this stuff always helps with growing the channel, growing the community, and all that stuff. I mentioned it on my push to 1,000 as well, that if you want to support the channel, I'm not going to do anything like Patreon. I don't think I'm ready to do Patreon yet. I don't have any additional content I can think that would be a benefit to you guys, and I don't feel comfortable asking you guys for money to support my channel. But all of this stuff costs money. The microphone I'm using costs money. The 2 cameras I'm using cost money. The lighting, it costs money. And that's not a complaint or anything. I'm happy to spend the money, but there are things that I would like to get to make even better content. I would like a better microphone. I would like more streamlined lighting, or even some lighting in the background just to make the background a little more interesting, those types of things. So I've set up an account on a site called buymeacoffee.com. It's basically a tip site. You can give me $1, you can give me $20, whatever you want. But what I've actually done is set up what they have is a wish list, where I can actually show you guys the things that I want to get to make better content for you guys. So it's like a GoFundMe, where you can actually pick and choose where you want to donate your money to if you're interested. So please go check that out. I'll put a link in the description down below to my particular dashboard, so you can go and check that stuff out. It'd be greatly appreciated. Anyway, again, guys, thank you very much for sitting with me. For those of you who are actually watching, for those of you who are watching this post, I hope you're having an excellent weekend. And until next time, I'm the Rusty Mechanic, and we'll see you next time.